So here in this part we can clear. I'll show you how to clear what's in these input tags. So once you add this, they're going to stay in there. So go back to your editor, and after that function, we're going to clear them using just a simple assignment form question. Remember, that's coming from the ng model, and just blank. Leave it blank. The same thing for form answer. Reload. So we add that, and this form gets blank. There we go. It's working fine. So what's the next thing we could do? Let's create a button to remove the items. So we're going to do something similar and call a function remove last. And here, let's create a function called scope remove last. And this is much simpler. We can just use the pop method. So save it, reload. Our button didn't show up. Let's see what's going on. Is there a button there? Yep, there we go. So we add, and now remove. There we go. So it removed everything. It's working fine. Let's go ahead and now get our total amount. So create placeholder called total. So to calculate the total, we're going to create a new function on the scope. We're going to call it get total. And we're going to return scope.quiz.length. So it calculates what you created and places here, except this should be the function name. So we'll just do get total. See if it works. There we go. Now it's counting. You have 2, 3, and that's working. So let's add a third button, and this third button we'll call it clear. And the function name be clear list. Clear list. Scope.clear list. And all that we're going to do here is set that scope quiz object to a blank array. So if we have multiple items, like this is the default value. So let's just say yes or no. No. Now we have two default objects, 1, 2, and we clear the list. They all go away, 0. And we're going to start again. And this time we have these functions that are modularized using the don't repeat yourself concept. So you can call these anytime. And let's add another thing here. Let's do some input validation for the add item, or just make sure that if the question or answer input is empty, not to accept, to continue. So question and answer. Right here we're saying if they're true. So if they are empty, they'll be false and it won't process this. So you reload this and add, can't add blank data like we did before. One is blank, it's not adding, but once they're both full, it will add. Let's break off here to a different section, and I'm going to describe to you the factory service. And that's just another concept in the software development side where it belongs to creating a new instances of a singleton. And a singleton is just an object that's used, can be used recurringly to deliver something. And we're going to do that with our quiz item. So if you select quiz, this is going to cut and go to your app.js file, and we're going to create a new Angular thing called factory. So factory is called, we're going to have our own called quiz, and that just means it's separate, it's modular, it can initiate data. It's usually using JSON formats of data. You can use the HTTP directive object to get external data from other sites. But in this tutorial, we'll just have it get you data from this section for default values. So go ahead and paste your code here, the quiz, and let's just be a little more generic here. We'll call this data. And right now inside this factory you have data, which is in the local scope and it's created locally, but we want to return it. And if you return it, we're going to call a method get data. Actually, before I do that, you can just say for data, if I return this, it's going to be accessible outside, but we want it to be, it's going to be accessible and you can override it, but if we do another method like so, it can be really overwritten. So this is a function, and now it's just going to return the data. So save this in your app.js and go back to your controller, and we're going to call it differently. This time, for that to work, we're going to pass the quiz into, we're going to inject it. It's an injection here. Now we can access it. So if you do quiz.getData, you can get the data we created. However, this isn't going anywhere, so we have to move it here. And there's another problem with that. Pretty much anytime you refresh the page, it's gonna get that data again. But if it's already there, you can just do this thing, which is expression, to get, if it already exists on the scope, just get it from itself so it doesn't change. But if scope quiz is false, or meaning it's empty, it's going to get it from quiz data. So let's see if that works. There we go. We reload it and we have the default values. So let's go back and just erase what we have down to one object and save. And there you go. So the next thing I'm going to tell you about is some styling. So go on to the next video.